High FM, 101.9 megahertz of life.
Chatting to Craig Pantanowitz from the National Chairperson of the South African Zionist Federation. Craig, good morning again. Let's see if this is any better.
Good morning, Howard. It certainly is better on my side.
Yeah, fantastic on ours as well. Okay. So let's first of all, how accurate are these polls?
So, Howard, I think that one always has to take a very, very good look at where they're coming from. Certainly from my side, one of the concerns that I hold that we have to take these polls seriously is the fact that they are being explained to us by Dr. Frans Cronje from the Common Sense, who I have personally a huge amount of respect for. He generally has his finger on the pulse very accurately. And I think that there is no question that this is something we should be listening to, however difficult it is to hear.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point, because it's very easy for me to say, well, I'm not buying it. But then I might be employing a little bit of cognitive dissonance, and maybe I'm not buying it simply because it is just too difficult to contemplate.
I certainly think that, whilst this is incredibly difficult to hear, and I think that at a time like this, we as a people, the Jewish nation, need to take stock of where we are, both inside of Israel and globally. We would be certainly short-sighted not to take it seriously and listen to what Dr. Cronje is saying, but more so how it would open our eyes to the reality on the ground that many communities globally are facing currently. And those communities don't live in a vacuum. They're living in society, and there certainly are pressures and difficulties being faced by those communities. So, whether the problem is as severe as is being exposed through these polls, I think that we need to sit up, we need to listen, we need to take stock, and come up with the strategy and a way forward that, one, we can work effectively against this, and two, make sure that, one, our communities are safe in the diaspora, and two, that Israel can forge forward in a path of peace and security for both the people inside of Israel and for neighboring countries that surround Israel.
So what do you think it is that has caused this shift? Is it Israel's actions, or is it the way in which the media have portrayed things?
Howard, I think it's multiple things, and unfortunately that makes it all the more difficult to deal with. And I think if we had to break it down into a couple of the major components, there is no question that the media plays a significant role. I always give myself a personal inside of my head chuckle, when I hear these allegations that the Jews control the media, and you see this absolute flood of terrible hate in the media. And so the media definitely has a part to play, and I don't think I would be out of line to say that the vast majority of media globally is certainly not supportive of Israel, and I think that definitely holds some kind of truth. Social media has had a huge impact where people's attention spans, due to the way we consume news, has no question changed, where one would have to read through an entire article to try and understand the truth and what the article was telling us, whereas now a 15-second TikTok video or clip on Instagram is considered the news and has taken front and center stage in terms of portraying ideas globally. Also, some of the people that are portraying news on some of those social media sites, where we are actually taking our news from, one has to question, the kinds of people that we are listening to, Tucker Carlson's of the world, etc. And I think, Howard, in addition to that, one needs to look a little bit deeper, because when you look at the accusations that are leveled against the Jewish state, these are not new ideas. These are anti-Semitic ideas that have been perpetuated, Howard, sometimes for centuries. and
Right.
are just rehashed with a different hat on, just rehashed in a different color. And if you really go and look at some of the accusations against Israel, um, these accusations have been placed at the feet of Jewish people for centuries and have nothing to do with the current conflict. Having said that, one also needs to understand that war is incredibly, incredibly ugly. And sadly, Israel have been a country at war for over 3 years now. Images of war are horrific. And I'm not going to stand and deny the fact that war is a mess. People engaged in a brutal war, and make no mistake, this has been an incredibly brutal war for Israel and Israel's neighbors. These images sent around the world, Howard, create,
Make a huge
um,
difference. So, Craig,
they
just
make a huge difference.
in the interest of time,
Sure.
what could supporters of Israel do differently? What could Israel do differently in order to create or show a alternative angle to that which people are seeing?
Howard, this is the $1 million question. And I can tell you that there are various organizations within Israel that are working really hard to get the truth out. There are media organizations that are working hard to curate news that is accurate and fair. And I think each one of us in the diaspora need to do our bit, one, to share the truth. And the truth only goes so far, Howard, because people want to hear the truth. But at every point in time, we need to share the truth. We need to continue doing the good work that we do. We need to keep showcasing that Israel is not just a country of war. Actually, this is the very last thing that Israel should be showcasing, because they do so many phenomenal things in the world in terms of making things better for the world, humanitarian wise. We need to keep showcasing those things. And we need to keep educating Howard, that these anti-Semitic libels that are portrayed as fact are
Or
not the
not?
truth. The garbage that you see online is actually devastating. And we would
And we can
be
see the impact.
very wise, Howard.
That's the reality. Craig Mukundi is telling me I have to wrap up. I think it's a conversation we need to continue having, and we need to have it again when we've got a little bit more time, when technology doesn't let us down, because it is such an important. Not an issue on your side at all, but it's such an important. It's a critical conversation, and we need to figure out what it is that we could do differently, because somehow just showcasing the fact hasn't worked until now. What is it that we can do, if anything, really, to change these perceptions? Craig, thank you for that. Thank you for all the great work that you are doing.